there's got to be some reason why the weight classes haven't changed for this long.
Yeah, there's got to be. But okay, here's,
I don't know what it is.
Here's what I don't understand is that the UFC, they will, if they have a pay-per-view that, you know, they can't find a champion that wants to fight yet, timeline doesn't work out, they'll just make up an interim belt or a BMF belt for it. Okay? If you added a 65 and you moved welterweight to 75, and then maybe you put one between 85 and 205, you could just make a real title fight. You can make more real title fights instead of just making up Colby Covington versus RDA for the interim title as a main event.
I feel like that was a weird deal, though. I feel like that was like a one-off kind of thing.
I mean, didn't Cyril Gahn fight for an interim title as a main event for pay-per-view and shit?
But if a guy's out for too long, what the fuck are you going to do?
So, but what I'm saying is, like, I feel like the UFC would benefit from, instead of just making up interim belts, they could just have more real belts. So why? That's kind of, I'm kind of. But I mean, on the same page as you guys. Like why don't they do that?
They do catch weights every once in a while for, you know, like someone drops out, he can't cut the weight, they agree to meet at a weight. They do that shit.
But they don't do
a catch weight for
I know. I'm just saying
fight.
They make the shit work and they'll do like a 190.
I mean, I guess
whatever.
I guess if it's broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's not, you know, it's not fucked up. I'm sure people bitch about it. I'm sure the fighters bitch about it because there's tweeners and whatever. But I like the current format personally. Just because that's what we all
if we can have a
know.
fucking women's 145, why can't we have a men's?
Do we have a women's 145 though?
Technically, we do.
Technically, but one of those fights happens like how often?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could get rid of that shit and just fucking make a 65 where guys that cut a ton of weight to 55 but are maybe too small
like
for 70 can just
cuts a lot of weight to make 55.
Clem could fight 65.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that needs a 65 class for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or even
There's 60. A lot of choice. So did Cowboy. Cerrone.
There's tons of those guys.
Yeah, Cowboy couldn't really hang at 70, but he cut a bunch of weight to 55.
I feel like he could have been champ at 165.
Yeah. But I feel like you're going to get a lot of the same guys in those divisions. Like you're not just going to have I don't know.
Maybe the weight cut should be coincided with the hydration test, and that could prevent guys who are naturally 190 to prevent them from cutting to 155.
I don't think we'll ever.
You know
see
what I'm saying? Like
test though.
Oh, I know, but maybe that's the answer to quit these. Like, oh yeah, okay. Well, if we make a weight class every 10 pounds, we got from 170 to 180. Maybe those guys that are cutting from 200 to 180, it'll keep them at bay from cutting to 170. Even if they're deficiating themselves. I think there should be two different forms of regulations rather than just weight. There should be weight in this. Be like, okay, yeah, we know that you walk around at 200 pounds and that you can cut to 155, but you shouldn't be cutting to 155, and this is scientifically why you should not be cutting to 155. And maybe if they put some sort of a fucking block on that instance, then maybe it would make way more sense to have a 10-pound weight class.
See, what they did is they made the PI to where we'll help you cut a bunch of weight.
Right.
Yeah. It's not. There's no rules on it.
We got a facility where most of your fights
we'll just help you do the unhealthy thing. We're not going to make a rule about it.
Right.
How about when you sign a contract to fight, you step on a scale, or you step on a scale when you want to fight.
Mm-hmm. Say you have to be a certain amount of weight before you can even be eligible to accept that fight.
That weight class.
Right. See, same difference. Same difference for what I just said.
The UFC, they're never going to do that.
That
because
just complicates shit.
It doesn't matter. The UFC does not care.
Things are already complicated, though.
Health.
They don't care, but they don't care like how good you are when you show up. They just care like if you're a name, you show up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's all it is.
If you win or lose, they can make fights whether you win or lose. It doesn't really matter.